Empower life with me. The following program contains mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to Empower Life with Cleopatra, the show where we confront hard truths, break the silence around hidden struggles, and empower you to heal your mind, strengthen your spirit, and reclaim your God-given freedom. Absolutely. Now, before we dive in, let's just pause for a moment because life is full of challenges that often hide in plain sight. All right, and that things that we don't talk about, but that quietly shapes our hearts, our minds, and our destinies. Now, some of these over time can start as, like curiosity or a habit or even a search for comfort. But as time goes on, they can quietly take over our lives completely. And tonight, I want to gently but boldly address one of these challenges because ignoring it does not make it go away. It's a topic that most people avoid, even in private. We're talking pornography. Let me be clear. This is not about shaming anyone. This is about understanding, uncovering the truth, and reclaiming control over your mind, your relationships, your faith, and your destiny. Pornography, right, is no longer just a habit. It is not harmless. It is not simply normal curiosity. Pornography is a global phenomenon that affects the brain. It rewires your desires and silently undermines intimacy, emotional health, and spiritual connection. Tonight, we are going to explore this from every angle. And we're talking medical, neurological, psychological, relational, spiritual, like every single angle. And the reason I'm doing this is because I need you to see the full picture and then take steps towards freedom if you are addicted to pornography. Because freedom begins where truth is told. But before we continue, my royals, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Real Empower Life with Cleopatra. Don't forget to always like, to share, to comment, and to always watch the video to the very end. Okay, that way YouTube will push it to other people. All right. And then on my Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, it is Empower Life with Cleopatra. Please follow me on those social media outlets, okay? And always also comment, like, share, and all those beautiful things, okay? And I need you to comment on this video. Freedom begins with truth. That's the first thing I need you to comment, okay? Freedom begins with truth. Then I know that you're with me, okay? Now, thank you very much. Let's go. What really is pornography? Pornography is more than explicit content. It is a dopamine triggering substance in your brain. It is a manufactured fantasy designed to hijack desire. It is a rehearsed lie about what intimacy really is. It is a commercial exploitation of human bodies. It is a neurological conditioning tool as well. Yeah. Pornography trains the brain to associate pleasure without intimacy, sex without commitment, bodies without souls, and desire without responsibility. And it isn't accidental, all right? It is carefully engineered to capture attention, stimulate craving, and create dependence. Now let's talk about pornography from the medical and neurological aspect. Firstly, porn rewires the brain. When one consumes porn, the brain releases dopamine. Dopamine is the same chemical activated by addictive substances like cocaine, meth, heroin over time, all right? And repeated exposure desensitizes the reward system, makes ordinary pleasure feel dull, drives search for increasing extreme content, all right? Because obviously you keep wanting a higher and a higher high, all right, of the feeling you get when you watch pornography. And many people describe it like this, and they will say things like, I don't even enjoy it anymore, but I can't stop. That is neurological addiction at work, plain and simple. Secondly, porn shrinks the prefrontal cortex. Now, the prefrontal cortex is your brain's command center. This is responsible for self control, decision making, moral reasoning, and discipline. Chronic porn can weaken this region, all right? And this leads to impulse control loss, compulsive behaviors, decreased willpower. These are serious. And when this happens, it's not because you're weak, I guess, but your brain is under attack and your biology is responding to repeated overstimulation. Fourthly, porn affects the mental health, and there are consequences to that. The psychological cost is real. Porn addiction is strongly associated with anxiety, depression, shame cycles, isolation, low self worth, even suicidal thoughts. All right, because porn promises escapes, But what it actually does is that it delivers chains. It enslaves one. Now let's talk about the relational damage of pornography. One doesn't stay on your screen. It enters your marriage, your dating life, your expectations, your emotional availability. It creates unrealistic sexual expectations. It erodes your emotional bonding. It replaces connection with consumption. And often it turns partners into performers. Because many relationships don't fail because of infidelity. They actually fail because of pornography. They may not mention it, but often, if you dig deeper, that may have been the case. And why? Because either partner, I know that men actually indulge in pornography much more, but women do that as well. And when they indulge in pornography after a long time, they become desensitized, as I said before. And they find that sometimes, because they expect their partners to perform exactly the same way as the woman or the man in the video is performing and is below their expectations, it becomes a problem in the relationship. And that can affect the marriage and lead to divorce. Now, let's look at it from the spiritual aspect now. What does God say about pornography? Spiritually, pornography is corrosive. The Bible may not use the word porn, but it addresses lust and heart corruption very clearly. It says in the Bible, in the book of Job, chapter 31, verse 1, it says, I have made covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully. All right. And also it says in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 18, it says, flee from sexual immorality. All right. And then in Philippians 4:8, it says, whatever is pure, whatever is holy, whatever is a good report, whatever, it says, and it says, think on these things, meditate on these things. All right. It doesn't say porn. And also in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 28, it says, anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery in his heart. All right. So porn is lust that is rehearsed. All right. It's adultery of the imagination. All right. It numbs conviction. It silences prayer because you start feeling guilty. All right. And there are a lot of men of God, who are into pornography. I've seen a lot of celebrity pastors and singers who are Christians who have actually come forward. All you need to do is go online, who have come forward to talk about their porn addiction, okay? And this fractures intimacy with God, because when you continue to feed the flesh daily, you're dimming your spirit, all right? So you're not giving place to God, but you're giving the place for your flesh to take over your spirit. Now, why do people turn to porn? And this is the heart of the matter, all right? People often turn to porn not out of desire, but as a coping mechanism. And what are they trying to cope with? Loneliness, stress, rejection, trauma, feeling unseen, emotional starvation, lack of love. Now, porn becomes comfort, escape, numbness, false intimacy, all right? And then shame fuels the cycle. So shame leads to secrecy, secrecy fuels addiction, and the cycle keeps repeating itself over and over again. Early exposure, trauma, or unchecked curiosity can all seed long-term patterns. All right. Over time, many people stop saying, I watch porn, and they start believing, oh, this is who I am. All right. Now, listen, hear this clearly. Your addiction is not your identity. So when you start trying to make your addiction your identity, there is a problem. All right? But there is a way to break free from this. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to break free from this addiction, because healing is possible. And here's how. First of all, renew the mind. See, the brain is plastic. It can form new pathways. So if you replace porn with, say, exercise, prayer, studying the Bible, journaling, purposeful habits like exercising and things like that, it can help, because the pattern that you cultivate over a period of time becomes a habit, and then the habit becomes a lifestyle. Okay? So it can change. You can change and it can be reversed. Secondly, radical accountability, because connection kills secrecy. So if you have trusted friends, you can make yourself accountable to them so that they can watch you and make sure that you're back on the path of the straight and narrow. All right? Also, if you have faith leaders, talk to them. If you have support groups, I know there are support groups for addictions and stuff like that. One, and join them, because obviously they would help, just like they have the Alcoholic Anonymous or whatever. They have one for the same sex addiction and or porn addiction and all that. Join them as well. You might find that very helpful as well. Therapy is another good one that you need to consider as well. All right. Now, one thing I need you to also think about is removing triggers. What causes you to resort to porn? Remove triggers, all right? There are some things that you can use to block it. So install blockers, and whatever those things are that you know that can, for example, throwing away the videos or blocking the sites that you go and watch them, or stop buying the magazines or something. Whatever it is that can help stop the blockers, resort to it. Change routines as well. All right. Avoid isolation. Try not to be by yourself. Also, like I said earlier, get off these tempting platforms. If you really want to do it, you can. Stay off it. All right. Also, deal with the root cause because porn is not a symptom. Address what the root cause is. Was it trauma at work? Was it childhood trauma? Were you abused as a child? Is it some emotional issues that you have? Is it about your self worth? Whatever it is, address it. Maybe through therapy, through prayers. If you were abused as a child, or maybe even as an adult, you experienced abuse, maybe through, rape or anything. Try to forgive yourself because sometimes people might find it very difficult to forgive themselves, thinking that they are the result or they're the reason why it happened to them. Have practice self-forgiveness. That also helps towards the healing process and towards you being able to overcome the addiction as well. All right. And then also invite God into the process. God restores. All right. He never shames. Right. The Bible says in the book of Romans chapter 8 verse 1, it says, there is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus, which means come as you are. I'm not going to shame you. I'm going to help restore you. Okay? So there is no condemnation. Don't feel ashamed to approach God if you really want to overcome your addiction. All right? Healing is not instant perfection. Nobody expects you to be perfect immediately. Okay? It is you're constantly surrendering to God and asking God to take absolute control that helps you to become, strong and not be overcome with the porn addiction anymore. Okay? Now, here are some questions to answer. Is occasional use harmful? Yes. Dopamine rewiring can happen even with infrequent exposure, so stay away from it completely. All right. Secondly, can women be addicted to porn too? Absolutely. Are you kidding? Absolutely. Women experience emotional and relational consequences as well, sometimes even more acutely because women are more emotional. So, yes, women can get addicted to pornography as well. Now, how long does it take to overcome porn addiction? Is another question. Well, it depends on the individual. People can overcome it almost immediately. Some it might take them months, but as long as you abstain from it completely, you make yourself accountable, and you replace the habit with something that is more productive, maybe exercise or reading the Bible or doing something that is more productive, you will overcome it with time. Just be serious about it. Now, another question I have been asked is porn addiction spiritual, psychological, or medical? It can be all three, actually. It can be a spiritual battle, a neurological dependency, or a coping mechanism. Yeah. Now, another question is, what if I keep failing? Failure is not final. Every attempt to rise is progress. So, it's not about, there's a song by Donnie McLaughlin that says, we fall down, but we get up. Because a saint is just a sinner who fell down and got up. So the fact that you failed when you tried to, stop doesn't mean that you've lost. Just keep attempting, just keep trying as much as you can to rise again. All right. And with time, you'll find yourself being able to overcome it. Okay. Porn doesn't just steal time, it steals clarity, intimacy, confidence, and even your calling. And when I say calling, for those who are not religious or Christians, it steals what you were meant to do, your destiny. It can affect it because you're spending so much time with pornography that you're not spending enough time to actually recognize what your purpose in life is. What were you supposed to do in life? What was your calling? All right. So we are supposed to be purpose driven. We're supposed to be living purpose driven lifestyles. So let's not allow porn or any form of addiction whatsoever to affect that purpose. Okay. Now, the opposite of porn is not abstinence, it is intimacy, it is wholeness and freedom. And when I say intimacy, I'm talking about intimacy with God and intimacy with somebody that you are married to, and then you can have that intimate sexual contact with them. Because personally, and this is my opinion, everybody's entitled to their opinion. My opinion is I don't subscribe to sex before marriage. All right. When we were young, we made mistakes, but when you know better, you do better. Okay. So intimacy with the partner that you're meant to be with, that you're married to. Okay. And wholeness. All right. And freedom. So you were created to connect with another human being, to connect with a soul, not with something you see online or a magazine. All right. You're not supposed to be consuming bodies. You're supposed to be connecting with bodies. Okay. So choose truth over secrecy, and then you can break the chain of addiction. All right. And when I say choose truth, I mean make yourself accountable to someone so that they can help you with overcoming the addiction. Okay. There's no need to keep it secret because it doesn't help. I've already mentioned the consequences of porn addiction and what happens when you keep it a secret. When you expose it, then what happens? The chains are broken. And you can do it because you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Okay? Now, this is where we're going to leave it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Now, I want you to remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Real Empower Life with Cleopatra. And on my Facebook, my TikTok, and my Instagram account, it is Empower Life with Cleopatra. Okay. Now, don't forget to always like, to share, and comment as well. And always watch the video to the end. Okay. That way, the algorithm for any of the social media will push it to the next person. Okay. Now, the comment I want you to make for this last session is break free. All right, that's the comment I want you to make. Break free, because knowledge sets you free. You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So break free. That's the comment I want you to make. All right. Now, once again, this is where I'm going to leave it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, be bold, be informed, be empowered. I love you so much. All right. Take care, and I'll see you in the next show. Bye for now. The best version of you.